had 12 hours or so to mull over the deal. How are you minded to vote?
Well, it really does depend on the legal opinion from Bill Cash's committee and, of course, from the Attorney General, as well as what view the DUP take of this, because the fundamental problem with the backstop is the split between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. If the DUP feel that that problem has been solved, then I think you'd find that many people in the ERG were happy with that.
Is there anything that you have heard so far that for you is a red line? In other words, have you seen anything that makes you think I simply cannot back this deal?
My concern is in the detail of the unilateral declaration, where when you read to the end of it, it says it's subject to Part 6, Title 3 of the withdrawal agreement, which brings in a mechanism that includes under Article 174 the European Court of Justice. So that's where I should be particularly interested in what the legal opinion is, because if it's subject to that, it's not unilateral, and only if it's unilateral is it effective and strong.
Does it really come down to that, though, to the legal nitty-gritty? Because many people will take the view that at the end of the day, it's a political calculation you have to make, whether you go for this deal as the best on offer or you reject it and potentially jeopardise Brexit.
I think you make a fundamental point. Once we've left the European Union, our relationship is a political one rather than a legal one. International law is a very hazy concept, and its enforceability is unclear. The International Court does not find that its rulings are often followed, whereas the ECJ's rulings are automatically our law. So I think you get to the heart of the matter. Ultimately, it is political. Does this deliver enough of Brexit to be worth accepting against the risk Michael Gove has highlighted of not leaving, or is what Michael Gove has highlighted fanciful, that we're going to leave and therefore that risk isn't there? And that's today's debate, essentially.
Surely you can answer that question. You must have been mulling that over in your own head. Do you think that the sort of fears articulated by Michael Gove are realistic?
Well, I don't think they are likely to be realised at the moment, but there is always a risk of things going in a way that one wouldn't want. I think the national mood would be so irritable in the event of Brexit being stopped and the feeling that democracy was being denied. And I note that none of the people who really want us to remain, or very few of them dare say so, that most of them talk about delay and other things. So I think it's hard to get from here to not leaving.
Listening to you just then, and listening to the statements you and other Brexiteers have made during the course of the past few weeks, it seems to me your stance has softened. There is no longer all this talk about being a vassal state and a colony. You are gradually, incrementally shifting to Mrs May's position.
Well, I'm happy to talk about vassal state if you want, and in my article for Sunday Express I referred to penal servitude, so it was verbally upping the ante. I think everyone wants to leave on the 29th of March. That's what we're committed to, that's what's in UK law. I would be very happy to leave without a withdrawal agreement. I think the risks are fanciful, but I'm well aware that though the ERG is a large group within the Conservative Party, in the context of the whole House of Commons, we're only about a sixth of the House of Commons, and therefore we don't command the majority.
Do you accept what Jean-Claude Juncker said last night, which was basically, this is it, there are no more chances? In other words, if you reject this deal, you are not going to get any further reassurances, clarifications, concessions from the EU. This is as good as it gets.
Look, I'm not particularly worried about that, because I think leaving without an agreement is better than this deal. The question is, can we get there? We save £39 billion, we don't have the ECJ for 21 months, we don't have them imposing laws on us, and we don't split up the United Kingdom. So that isn't the threat that I'm bothered about. The issue is the one Michael Gove highlighted. If we don't accept this, is Brexit delayed? And that is a real issue and a real problem, whereas what Mr Juncker says is interesting theological commentary.
Yesterday, Mrs May's deal seemed dead in the water. Is it conceivable she could overturn an historic 230 majority defeat today?
I think it's unwise to predict parliamentary votes a few hours before they take place. That's a way of being likely to be wrong. I think better to listen to the Radio 4 racing tips than start predicting that.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, thanks very much indeed.